Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we bring ancient stories to life. Today, we have a beautiful tale that teaches us about the power of kindness and the pitfalls of greed. It's called The Legend of the Sacred Gourd. So sit back, relax, and let's journey back to a time of magic and wonder. Once upon a time, in a humble village, there lived a poor little boy. But what he lacked in riches, he more than made up for in heart. He was gentle, obedient, and incredibly kind. His compassion wasn't just for people. He cared deeply for every living thing, from the smallest flower to the chirping birds. Because of his warm heart, the birds absolutely adored him. Every spring, his small house would become a sanctuary, with flocks of birds nesting in the eaves and filling the air with their joyful songs. It was a symphony of nature, a testament to the boy's gentle spirit. One bright morning, this peaceful scene was shattered. A sly fox, driven by hunger, crept near the boy's home and lunged at a swallow's nest. In the frantic chaos, a poor swallow fell to the ground, its wing broken and twisted. Without a second thought, the boy rushed to its side. He gently scooped up the trembling bird, whispering soft, comforting words. He brought the injured swallow into his home, fashioning a tiny, soft nest for it. Day after day, he became its devoted caretaker. He fed it tiny morsels of food, gave it clean water, and showered it with all the love in his heart. Slowly but surely, under the boy's dedicated care, the little swallow's wing began to heal. The feathers grew back, the bone mended, and its strength returned. As the days grew shorter and a chill entered the autumn air, the boy noticed a change in his little friend. Flocks of swallows began their long journey south, flying to warmer lands to escape the coming winter. The little swallow was torn. It longed to join its family, to feel the wind beneath its wings on that great migration. But it was also reluctant to leave the kind boy who had saved its life. The boy, with his deep understanding of nature's heart, sensed the bird's conflict. He held it gently one last time and said with a loving smile, "Go with your flock to the warm south. Your family is waiting. But when spring comes, please remember me and return." With those words, he opened his hands and released the swallow into the crisp autumn sky. The bird flapped its newly healed wings, soared upwards, and with a grateful chirp, it joined the V-shaped formation heading towards the horizon, its heart full of longing and a promise to return to the boy. Time passed, the cold winter faded, and the world bloomed once more. Just as the boy had hoped, one beautiful spring morning, a familiar chirping sound filled the air. He looked up from the baskets he was weaving in his yard and saw his swallow friend circling joyfully above him. It swooped down and dropped a single large gourd seed right in front of him. The boy was thrilled. He carefully chose a sunny patch of land in front of his house and planted the special seed. He knew this was a gift, and he would treasure it. Every single day, he tended to the plant. He watered it, loosened the soil, and protected it from pests. The seed quickly sprouted, and a strong, lush gourd vine began to grow, its leaves unfurling like green flags in the sun. Soon it blossomed with beautiful yellow flowers, but strangely, it bore only a single fruit. This wasn't just any gourd, though. Thanks to the boy's meticulous care, it grew bigger and bigger each day. Soon it was taller than the boy himself. He watched in amazement, his heart filled with joy and anticipation. When harvest time arrived, the gourd had become truly gigantic. It was so enormous that the boy's entire family had to work together, grunting and laughing, to carry it into their small home. The air buzzed with excitement and curiosity. What could be inside such a magnificent gourd? With everyone gathered around, they carefully split it open. A gasp of astonishment filled the room. The gourd wasn't filled with pulp and seeds. Instead, it was overflowing with shimmering gold, sparkling silver, and countless precious jewels that glittered and shone, casting a rainbow of light across their faces. They were rich beyond their wildest dreams. But the boy's kind heart hadn't changed. He and his family didn't hoard the treasure for themselves. Instead, they invited all their neighbors and shared the wealth with everyone in the village. They helped the poor, repaired homes, and brought prosperity to the entire community. The boy's act of kindness to a single swallow had blossomed into a blessing for all. Now, in that very same village, there lived a landlord. He was the complete opposite of the boy, greedy, cruel, and selfish. When he heard the story of the magic gourd, his eyes gleamed with envy. He didn't see a tale of kindness. He saw a get-rich-quick scheme. He, too, wanted a swallow to bring him a sacred gourd seed. So, with a wicked plan in mind, he caught a helpless baby swallow. In a heartless act, he cruelly broke its wing, then brought it home and pretended to nurse it back to health. He mimicked the boy's actions, but without an ounce of genuine compassion. When autumn came and the first flocks of swallows began their journey south, the landlord impatiently threw the still-injured bird into the air. He shouted after it, "Fly away, little swallow, and don't forget to bring me a sacred gourd seed." He didn't care if the bird survived. He only cared about the potential reward. Miraculously, the little swallow did manage to fly away, its memory seared with the landlord's cruelty. The next spring, just as the landlord had hoped, the swallow returned. It flew over his opulent house and dropped a gourd seed into his yard. The greedy man was ecstatic. "This time I will become rich beyond imagination." He cackled to himself. He immediately ordered his servants to plant the seed in the best part of his garden. He had them guard it day and night, ensuring nothing could harm his future treasure. Under this constant, anxious watch, the gourd grew at an astonishing rate, becoming even larger and more impressive than the boy's had been. When the gourd was finally ripe, it was so massive that it took many strong men to haul it into the landlord's mansion. As soon as it was inside, the landlord's greed took over completely. He shoved all his servants out, bolted the doors, and stood alone with his prize. his hands trembling with anticipation as he dreamed of the mountains of gold he was about to possess. He took a large axe and eagerly split the giant gourd open. But what poured out was not gold or jewels. To his absolute horror, the gourd was filled with a writhing, hissing mass of snakes, venomous centipedes, and all manner of poisonous creatures. They swarmed out, pouring across the floor and crawling up the walls. The landlord screamed in terror, but there was nowhere to run. The creatures, born of his own cruelty, swarmed over him, biting and stinging until he fell to the ground and breathed his last. And so the story ends. The cruel and selfish man received the punishment he so richly deserved, a direct consequence of his own wicked heart. Meanwhile, the kind and generous boy, whose compassion started it all, lived a long, happy, and prosperous life, forever remembered for his gentle spirit. What a powerful story, right? It reminds us that our actions, whether kind or cruel, have a way of coming back to us. True wealth is found not in what we can get, but in what we are willing to give. Thank you so much for joining me for this tale. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up. And do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next story. Until next time, stay kind.